Here we go.
Okay,
Patricia, we're back.
we are.
So
Woo.
another quick 5 minutes. Woo! And
Here we are.
last month we talked theoretically about the alignment between sales and marketing. And this month I want to talk about a real world case that one of my clients is dealing with.
Yep.
With actual kind of numbers. And it started really back in 2021. First year of the pandemic, they finally started to pay attention to inbound marketing. And they're a direct to consumer sale. They're in home. They sell $6,000 to $7,000 on average. And they figured out that they would convert 30%, 3 out of 10 of their inbound leads that were qualified. And in 2021, those leads cost them $1,430. So $143 each, which isn't crazy high, but isn't super cheap. They're in a pretty popular category. So they went through 2021, 2022. They started to know a slight drop in their conversion rate, but they didn't make any changes with marketing and they didn't make any changes with sales. And by the end of 2023, what they discovered was their conversion rate had gone from 3 in 10 qualified leads to 1 in 10 qualified leads.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to sell the same number of sales, to make the same number of sales, to make 3 sales, they now needed 30 leads instead of 10.
Mm-hmm.
They were still selling roughly $18,000, but before their cost of advertising was $1,400 for $18,000 of revenue. And now it had gone up to $6,430.
I bet they want a new brochure. Would a new brochure
get a
solve
better
it?
flyer, if they could have a better flyer, that would fix it.
That would be better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think this is what happens when you've got a marketing person and a salesperson and everything gets siloed down. You've got marketing who's working on a strategy and all the things. You've got sales and they've got their things. And sometimes they meet and say, hey, I need that flyer or that brochure or that thing. And the messaging is off and you're not delivering an authentic sales message. You're chasing the next thing, oh, I need a lead magnet on my website. I need one of those. No, you need to step back and see why you aren't converting those leads. Has your market changed? Is the perception of your product different? Do that, step back and do some research. And oh, well, prices are up and that's why. Not necessarily. I just chose the second most expensive bid for a patio project. Why? Because I knew the guy would deliver exactly what I wanted. I knew he was using high grade product. He was doing all of the legwork that I expected to happen. Yeah, I could have had a patio, the week after the quote for $2,500. I waited a month and got my $8,300 patios, and I'm really happy with them. So it's not about the cheapest. It's not about the quickest turn. It's about how you message what you're delivering and closing that deal. So, and you do the training on the sales. I mean, you teach them how to think about that. And marketing should really be hand in hand with that, right? They should be finding the pain point and all of that also.
Yeah, I think marketing's job is to create conversations that sales want to have.
Right.
And sales' job is to understand what conversations they want to have and tell marketing about it.
Right.
And in this case, you had 2 guys selling, and they were doing the tactical sales work without learning anything. And you had a marketing firm who was tactically marketing, and you had an owner saying, well, we're not getting as many units sold, so we need to up the number of inbound leads. And
right.
Hey, if you're the marketing company and somebody says we need to increase our spend,
okay,
you say, well, why would we do that? You say, great, we'll get it done.
Yeah.
And so as it turns out, here we are 4 or 5 months later, and they're back. They're not back to converting 30%, but they're back to converting 20+%, almost 25%. Mm-hmm. Their cost for 3 sales has gone from $6,400 down to like $2,200. And all of a sudden, they're seeing that, hey, if we get our marketing team and our sales team to work together,
Concept.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured, following up on last month's kind of theoretical discussion of why sales and marketing need to be aligned, that like that simple case of trying to sell to somebody who's in home, primarily relying on inbound leads, and watching their entire margin get sucked up by bad marketing decisions, not the
Right.
marketing company's fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of that also is there needs to be that cooperation also with the marketing and the sales people together. So, a lot of times we really have to kind of step on our clients to say, okay, our measurable objective was increasing your sales, your inbound leads by 20%. What were your leads last month? Where did those come from? Right? Because if we're doing a more organic approach versus a paid approach. And I'll just be really honest, a lot of paid advertising, if you're working with an agency, there's no incentive to cut you back on that because they're making 15% off the top. We don't do that. We charge you for your time because there's all kinds of risks involved with that model, including you have to write the check to the media folks, and then you hope that your client pays you. And I'm not going to be the bank of Pat, but I mean, the whole system is kind of messed up, but it just really needs to be a collaborative effort on marketing and sales parts.
Yeah. I mean, so when people do inbound, they find themselves a lot of times limited on what they can generate volume wise organically.
Right. Yeah.
And so then, rather than doing the organic work over time, they decide, well, let's throw a little gasoline.
Let's throw some money at it. Mm-hmm,
If you can't fix it with money, what can you fix it with? And so
that's what I say about golf. I don't think it applies really. So.
Yeah, it doesn't work in golf. It doesn't work in advertising typically. So
yeah, exactly.
And so that, I think what you brought up is your marketing company, if they're a good marketing company, should be pushing back when you say, here's what we need. And your sales team should be asking questions like, why has our conversion rate changed? Mm-hmm. What are we missing? What conversations aren't we having that we need to have?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Once you do that strategic plan and that research, you're really not done. I mean, you can't just go, okay, that's done. Now you guys go. I mean, it's a constant evaluating, reevaluating. These came in great the first 6 months, and then all of a sudden something changed. You shouldn't wait 2 years to figure out that your conversion rate's decreasing. So, it can be a real time kind of shifting of things. That's not working. And I mean, it's a bit of an art. It's not like it used to be. You can't just buy a billboard and hope for the best.
Throw it up. What was explained to me was that, and this was early in my career, it was good marketing is like being in a sailboat, not a motorboat. Because a sailboat spends 90+% of its time not headed towards its destination. It's just constant adjustments. And
that's exactly right.
You start the engine and you just go, and it's a straight line. So as we look at this, I think that's both sales and marketing are arts of constant adjustment based on principles and rules, not on scripts and repetitive rote process. So
exactly.
All right. Well, I guess I'll wrap up. And if anybody is interested in talking about how to effectively manage the sailboat of sales, then 317-678-8800. And I don't know, Patricia, I'm sure this is on your site, so they can reach you on there.
They can kick out a message to me at pat@picketandassociates.com.
Well, there we
Love
go.
to chat. Okay, very good. Thanks, Matt, so much.
Thanks.